So, good morning, my dear students. Today, actually, we are going to talk on a very important topic. That is your lumbar disc disease. Lumbar disc disease. The terminology is actually disease. Disease in the sense that do not have this mindset that every time the disc is causing problem only because of the prolapse. But beside prolapse also, there are so many problems arising from the disc. So we will discuss about the various problems arising because of the lumbar disc. We will talk little bit of the anatomy. We will talk the functions of the disc. We will talk what are the pain generator in context to the disc, and what are the clinical symptoms, what are the investigation procedures, and also the treatment protocols. So our aim of doing this aim of today's class is to discuss about various problems in context to lumbar disc disease. So why it is called lumbar disc disease? Says, tell us why it is called lumbar disc disease. It is called lumbar disc disease in the sense there are too many problems arising of this. It is a conglomeration of the diseases actually. So there are 3 types of your problems arising here. One is called internal disc dysfunction. What is this? And who are the victims of this? Another is called DDD, degenerative disc disease. And the commonly problem we encounter is PID, prolapse intravertebrally. So these are 3 problems. One is internal disc dysfunction, IDD, internal disc dysfunction. Under is your DDD. DDD means your degenerative disc disease. And another is your prolapse intravertebral disc. Actually, so many problems are arising with the disc. So we know that disc is an integral part of this your spinal column, having 2 parts. One is annulus fibrosus and another is nucleus pulposus lying inside. So we know this acts as a, many things about the speciality of disc in the sense that it has got less blood supply, nerve supply. Nerve supply will talk how it causes pain there, and also lymphatics. And while you talk about the nutritions of this your disc, it is basically by the way of diffusion from the end plates. So by the way of diffusion from the end plates, because there are pores in the end plate through which the nutrition get diffused into it, though it has no blood supply. That is one way. Then the annulus fibrosus is a engulfing it attached to the margins of your vertebra above and vertebra below, and a crisscross like of fibers are there so as to make it confine the nucleus pulposus. So how nucleus pulposus is helping us in dissipating the weight is that while you are giving a load over there, since it is a soft gelatinous types of structures, so it becomes flattened. Once it becomes flattened, then the elasticity of this your annulus fibrosus try to hold it. That is how it is whole. And while it is becoming flattened, what is the advantage? Advantage is that the weight is not concentrating to one singular part of the body, rather it is dissipating. Getting my point? So once the weight is there, this helps in distributions of the weight rather than getting concentrated in a singular part or a part of this your body. That is the greatest things there. Besides, is working as a pure shock absorber and dissipation of this weight, not allowing to concentrate on singular part of the body. That is mechanical advantage of this here. Then how it is being pain generator then? That it is a no nerve supply, it has got a nerve supply. While you discuss about the cervical disc degenerations and the problem, we talked about the nerve known as sinovertebral nerve. Sinovertebral nerve actually is a branch from the ventral branch of the root and a tweak of your sympathetic branch, combining together, coming back again through the canal root, through the root along the root back again to supply the posterior part of the ligaments, the periosteum, the vertebra, and the margins of the disc also. That is why the pain originating from the disc and other is being transmitted through this your sinovertebral nerve. You must know it. What is the transmitter? How it is being transmitted? The cause of pain are different. How it is generated the pain, but the root, the way through which it is being transmitted, this side is sinovertebral nerve. It also says that this nerve is responsible to supply the durameter also. So this nerve is supplying the posterior longitudinal ligament, margin of the disc, the periosteum, the body, and also the durameters. That is why pain originating from this area is being transmitted through this sinovertebral nerve. This is the cause. Now we will talk one by one how the disc is the thing which get degenerated early. We have discussed this thing there while we talked about the cervical spine also. It is the structures actually which degenerates very early, even earlier by 2 years. There is some sort of changes. By age of your 30 years, there is tremendous change in this your degenerative changes inside the disc. This is called, that is what we are talking. The early part, the young generations patients, what is the cause of pain? Though you may not find prolapse in the disc, but some changes are taking place inside the disc which is causing pain. So that is actually internal degenerations of the disc. So internal degeneration of the disc is basically, it is a changes inside the molecular constituents of this disc. That is why it loses its property. The chondroitin sulfate is increasing. That is why resilience and softness, gelatinous property is coming down. Chondroitin sulfate is increasing. So, and also that is why the hydrations of the disc is coming down. So it gets dehydrated. So dehydrated disc is also losing its property, mechanical properties also. We have discussed that the softness of gelatinous characteristics helps in dissipation of the weight. Now, because of this internal chemical changes taking inside the disc, that's also lead to losing of its physical properties as well. The physical properties are softness is gone. It is becoming dehydrated. That is why it is losing its mechanical property of your distributions also. That is the important thing. These changes are seen even in 30 years. 30 years because the process starts very early. Now, if you are confining to this region, this area. Now, if you are talking only now these problems. Now, what are the clinical features and who are the sufferer of this group? Let us talk to that part. Then we will talk about the DDD and also PID sequentially. So let us talk. So initially I tell you that internal degeneration disc is dysfunction of disc is taking place, dysfunction. It is basically the chemical changes inside taking place which led to your loss of your physical properties as well. Disc is became dehydrated. Now, it is seen in the age group of 20 to 50 years. Now, this group of patients are having backache, but you do not find characteristic radiculopathy. So, pain is there in the back. There may be muscle spasms also in the back. Radiation of the pain is seen around the buttock, but there is no radiculopathy. So, if you take the history of these persons, particularly 20 to 50 years of age, this group of patients complains of pain. Probably, these groups of patients are exposing some physical more activities. It is said physical activities may contribute to this disarrangement of the disc, but it is said it may not be the actual only the cause because we do not understand it properly yet. But it is said it may be a moderate contributor to this degenerative process. Moderate, though it is not main influencing factor, but is load on the disc, the professions, the stress probably contribute to these degenerative changes, dysfunctions of the disc, but may not be the only one. There may be other factors also which we yet to understand. So, though there is so many problems there, even we do not exactly understand many times where from the pain originates and what actually causes. That is why it becomes very difficult to pinpoint the source of pain because so many things are there in this region. Who is the pain generator? It is difficult to say. But anyway, while you talk about the internal dysfunctions of the disc, the victims are mostly young adults, 20 to 50 years of male. Probably they have exposed to more physical activities, and they are characteristic of fissures is they are confined in the back, radiating to the buttock, but no leg pain. Very rarely you may get it. Interestingly, this group of patients, while sitting for long, they will have more pain, but if they are taking rest, the quantum of the reduction of the pain is not much. That means the radiculopathy you will find the difference between these two. What I am talking actually, try to make you understand that in radiculopathy you will find while they can take rest, he get release of the pain. Unlike in these situations, IDD, you will find patient who will have pain more while sitting or stress, even loading, pain will be more, but rest does not significantly reduce the pain. If you do clinical examination of the patients, you will find there is restrictions of the spinal movement. Flexion, extension may be restricted because of the muscle spasm. But if you do SLRT, analgesics are not significantly positive. This is a very interesting thing. Now, the patient does not have radiculopathy, does not have radiations of the pain, but pain is confining to back, radiating to the buttock. Exaggeration increases pain, but rest does not significantly reduce the pain. SLRT, other things are not significant. There is no calf root pain, radiculopathy. And if you take the X-ray of the patient's X-ray is negative, CT scan is negative, and if you only do MRI, then you will find the discs are becoming dark. The darkness of this disc, in comparing to the other discs where hydration is there, it indicates that it is becoming dehydrated, but there is no prolapse. There is no prolapse in the MRI. So, only thing which is positive is the MRI. That too also it shows that the discs become dark in the MRI T2, but doesn't have any prolapse. So, this group of interestingly also their characteristic pictures are a bit different. That is one group. Okay? Now, we will talk about the next group. Next group your DDD or DDD. What is the DDD actually? Degenerations. Disc degeneration, disc degeneration is taking place. This degeneration disease. So here there is degeneration taking place. Probably it is the advanced stage of this first stage. Here what are the things are happening? The disc is more degenerated. There is fissures. What are the pathogenesis taking place? There is fissures. There is fissures in the annular fibrosus also. There is fissures. So there is a significantly you will find though this disc is not having vessels and nerve, but here in neurovascularization taking place. Interesting thing. So once the disc becomes degenerated, there is fissures, concentric or radiating, whatever fissures will be there in the annulus fibrosus. Annulus is fissures. And there is a communication from the end plate. That is why through these fissures, the vessels and nerve used to grow. And in the degeneration part, the significant neovascularization as well as the nerve endings are fissures, classical fissures microscopically seen in case of degeneration. So in the case there is significant degenerative changes are taking place. So, and also in the earlier, what I will talk about the internal degeneration dysfunction with this, there is no space reductions. Reduction of the space is not taking place. As I say, CT scan, MRI, CT scan and other exercise, everything normal. Only MRI shows the darkness and there is no reduction of the space. Space is maintained. But in case of your disc degenerations, you will find there is reduction of the space, osteophyte formations in the X-ray, reduce. There is sclerosis of this margin. There are changes taking place in the end plate also. This is called modic changes. There is modic 1, modic 2, where fatty degeneration taking place in 2. T1 is black, T2, T2 you will find white because of the fatty degenerations. These are called modic changes in the end plate. So, the whole thing, the nucleus, the annular, the end plate complex. This is called pulpo-annular end plate complex. Pulpo-annular end plate complex. What is pulpo? Nuclear. Somebody says nuclear annular end plate complex. This complex normally is confined. Now there is your fissures taking place. Degeneration is a disintegration taking place. You will find disintegration taking place. There is fissures through which new vessels are coming up, and there is neovascularization is characteristics in this case. And that is why there is pain. And why there is pain, we will talk. Why there is pain? Why, how it is degenerated? Because from the fissures, what is happening? There is leakage of some nociceptors. So some things which are actually confining to discs in the release, there may not be prolapse, but there is degeneration taking place. But then in degeneration, why do you pain? You find pain that they form these your fissures. There is substance P, phospholipase A, nitric acid, who were earlier confining to the disc being released. And this release of your substances are causing stimulations of the nerve, and this is one of the reasons of pain here. So some stimulants which are released from the disc because of this your degenerations and the fissures are mostly nitric acid, phospholipase, interleukin 6, then also substance P, all are releasing from your discs, and these are the stimulants to cause the pain in this case, though there may not be much mechanical instability or thing. These are also source of pain. That is why you get off and on pain, coming going sort of pain, and it is because of this your all the stimulants released from the disc. These are the cause. On the other hand, if this process continues As I said, there are three stages there. One is your degenerations, followed by your instability, followed by restabilizations. These are three things. We have discussed these things while we were talking about the cervical spine. There are also same thing happens because your reduction of the disc space leads to your essentially load on the diatrodial joints. There is a possibility of instability because the disc is reduced. Subsequently, other parts also become lax because reduced. So laxity leads to instability because now in this stage, before it is getting stabilized by the other mechanism, we'll talk what are the other things which is causing stabilization necessarily. But in this stage, now what happens? There is instability. So you'll find the patient is having pain while he is lifting from bed. Change of postures leads to a catchy pain. Change of posture leads to catchy pain is a sign of instability. So I am lifting from the bed, pain. I am standing from the sitting position, pain. From the sitting position, there is pain. Because there is a stress there. And this stress leading to instability or stress lessons of this vertebra. And this can be demonstrated by lateral view of the spine. In flexion and extension, you will find it may be translated. Translations may take place. This is the sign of instability, and the pain is not regular pain, but catchy sort of pain, sudden catchy of pain because of the change of postures is a sign of instability. So that is why while taking the history of your backache, you supposed to take a very thorough what is the characteristics of the pain. As I said, the pain characteristics in case of your internal disarrangement disc is different. This is dilating sort of pain, no burning pain, nothing. Here in this stage, instability stage, there is a catchy pain while is changing a posture. Again, regular pains are different. So that is why the characteristic of pains in all the cases are different, and you have to be very specific while taking the history of the patient. Pain characteristic may also tell you a lot of things. What is the characteristic of the pain? ठीक है sir? So that is why in the later on, and in this age group, later on there is hypertrophy of the capsules of this your diatrodial joints, hypertrophy of the ligamentum flavums. All these things are happening to make it stable by the natural way, which we talk instability, and that may lead to your constrictions or narrowing of the canal, and that may lead to your subsequently lead to your spinal canal stenosis. And that is your another group of your patients where you will find they have a characteristic neurological claudication and other things. ठीक है sir? So see degeneration taking place, then a stage of instability there. In the instability stage, the characteristic of the pains are different. Subsequently, nurses try to stabilize it by formation of osteophytes, formation of hypertrophy of the ligamentum flavum, capsules of the diatrodial joints. By the mechanism of hypertrophy, there is narrowing down of the spinal canal. This narrowing down of the spinal canal necessarily causes compression of the nerve beyond the spinal cord, and that may lead to your findings of your neurological claudications and spinal canal stenosis symptoms. If this group goes like this, you will find this group of patients are having neurological pressure. Going for some distance, there will be pain in the leg, needs to sit down for some time, then again start doing so. Yes, progressively it may reduce the area, distance which can able to go, and stooping forward may help him to going up. So if he stoop forward, he can go a long distance, because stooping lead to your increasing the size of your canal, and extension lead to your pain. Yes, so that is why this person says, I mean, living is stoop forward, they feel comfortable while they are in flexion, and that is why he can go climbing, he can ride a cycle, but this walking is a difficult situation. Progressively, it may reduce the distance which can walk comfortably. So that is a classical signs of your spinal canal stenosis with a neurological claudications. That is one. So these are the various your changes. So in this sense, your instability, if it is coming at this group, more problem, the treatment line is different. Yes or no? In instability, you may address with stabilization. If in instability is there is an answer to this problem is your stabilization. On the other hand, he is coming with the neurological claudications and all the symptoms of spinal stenosis, then you need to release it. So definitely the line of treatment in all the cases are not same. That is why you need to go through a thorough examination. In the spinal canal stenosis group, you may not get regular pain. The SLRT may be sometimes normal, there is no neurological deficit also. Everything is normal. Clinical signs are almost silent. But this history and other things are very important to know. And then of course you can be justified with the help of your various investigative tool along with the MRI that can show how it is mechanical distance is reduced and how it is getting compressed. And you have to correlate all these things, history, with the clinical finding, with your investigations, so to come to a logical conclusions. That is one group. That is number 2 group. One is disarrangement, dysfunctions. This is DDD. Another group we are talking to now is your vertebral disc prolapse, intervertebral disc prolapse. That is what we commonly find. And these groups have different characteristics, unlike the other group. The first group is different, problems are different, age groups are almost same, but the clinical findings and the radiological findings are different. Second group also again find a difference. So second group advanced stage you may get the osteophyte formations, you may get sclerosis of the ends, modic changes, reduction to space, degenerative changes, so many things are made. ठीक है sir? That is number 3 group is your prolapse intervertebral disc. The prolapse intervertebral disc necessarily, initially there is a degeneration of this disc taking place. That is true. We have said about the fissures taking place in the annulus. Now, while there is a load over there, while there is a fissures, that is try to these materials come out. Now, which disc usually come out? That is another interesting thing. The degenerated disc comes out easily, or the non-degenerated disc comes out easily. Who is this going to prolapse first? Non-degenerated. Non-degenerated usually goes prolapse because is your gelatinous, your it is less, more. Non-degenerated is more hydrated. So hydrated disc prolapse is more because it gets dispersed. When in load, there is a dispersion. That is why I try to find out a place for which girl. Once there is a fissure in the annular annulus, while the annular fibers are unable to hold it, it tries to penetrate out. That leads to a sequence of events. We will talk how it is happening. Now, before that, let us talk a little bit of things here. There in the anatomy, that your posterior, you have the posterior longitudinal ligament. The posterior longitudinal ligament is very thick in the central part, but peripheral it is very deficient. Very deficient. That is why disc problem is most of the time you will find the prolapse is taking place in posterior lateral area. Why this posterior lateral? Because the central part you have another binding force, that is your concentration of the longitudinal ligament posteriorly, but laterally it is more deficient. That is why the chances of disc coming out from the posterior lateral or sometimes lateral area is more common. More common. Now that is one. So that is the area where from it is coming. 1 point. Number 2. While it is coming also, you have gradings. One is called protrusion, one is called extrusion, another is called sequestration. Now, what is protrusions? Protrusion, it is bulging, but the annulus is still intact. Annulus is still intact, disc is bulging out, annulus still intact, it is your protrusion. Yes? Number 2, once it is tear off, coming out, now still half is out, half is inside. The continuation is there with the original disc. That is your extrusion. Sequestration, there is no communication with the original side. It is completely out from the disc, but nucleus pulposus is completely out. Once it is coming out, there are two things may happen. One, it may remain subligamentous, means the posterior longitudinal. It is just anterior ligament. On the other hand, it may come to the canal itself. So that is called contained and uncontained disc. So in the disc C, the posterolateral part, this protrusion is more common because deficiency of this ligament, 1 point. Number 2, while taking protrusions also, there are 3 stages. One is called protrusions, means your bulging is taking place, but annulus is still intact, it cannot tear you off, still intact. 1. Number 2, annulus is torn, nucleus is coming out, partially treahouse, partially extrusion. Sequestration is completely out. Now completely out, there is no continuation with this your original disc. But this disc may not come completely into the canal. It may remain in the subligamentous area. This is called your contained disc, and another is called uncontained disc. Now while the disc is coming out, that requires to your sequence of events depending upon the position of the disc. So if it is coming centrally somehow, so necessarily it will cause compression to the cord. If it is coming there, that is going to happen the root. Now which root is going to involve, that depends upon the position of the disc. So actually you have two roots nearby. One is exiting root, another is your traversing root. Traversing root is nearer to the rod, nearer to the cord. Exiting root is coming out. So normally what happens, if L5 root is coming down below the L5 vertebra, below the L5S1 canal, root canal, but its origins of the disc is taking place high up, L4. So in L4 above, it is a traversing root, but in L5 level, it is a exiting root. So most of the time, while caudai cuna is there, so you will find the disc originating out the caudai cuna once level high. Then it is coming like this, then it is coming out. So in this area, it is called exiting. It is called traversing. But while it is coming out, it is your exiting. Yes. So in case of L5 root, the actually origin of the root takes place high up, L4. Now it is coming down. In this course, it is nearer to the cord, but laterally. Yes or no? As I said, the disc is mostly coming out from the posterolateral here. So this is the root which is going to involve exiting, traversing root. Yes, but it is also true that if the disc is coming too far laterally, then it may involve the exiting root. Getting my point? So in the part, this is your cord, this is your traversing root, another root is here it is your exiting root. Most of the time, disc is coming from the posterolateral part, so it is causing insult to the. But sometimes disc may be far lateral canal, but there are two parts of the disc. In the central part, it is in the two borders of this your dura. Lateral to the dura is the lateral. Then these are the various parts of the your part where it may get involved. But simply try to understand, more lateral, it may cause the involvement of the, but ideally it causes the injury to the, insult to the traversing root. So it is commonly traversing root which is mostly insulted because it is nearby. Now while the disc is coming, and what is the cause of your pain here? There are actually two causes. One is it initiates a process of your insult by the chemicals. As I said, there is your inflammatory changes also take place inside this disc. So inflammatory changes is taking place inside the disc because of your presence of IgG and IgM and there. So it indicates that there is some sort of your inflammatory changes are actually taking place there. How it is started is difficult to understand. Even then, the presence of this immunoglobulin also indicates that some sort of inflammatory. On the other hand, also it releases various toxins, as I said. Nitric acid, phospholipase A2, substance, these are all coming. So these chemicals, one, which initiate the process of inflammation to the root, that is one of the reasons of the pain. On the other hand, is also mechanically causing compression to the root. So there are two ways by the root is being insulted by the polyp disc. One is a chemical, and another is mechanical. So if the mechanical part is more significant, then you will have deficit. But if the occult chemical part is there will be more pain. Yes. So he have more pain. All the features are there, but deficit will be not much. But deficit will be more much if the disc is causing mechanically compressions of this nerve root, which leads to your ischemic microvascular changes. But microvascular ischemic changes take place because of mechanical compressions. That leads to a consequence of the events reflected by deficiency of the sensory and motor of the distributions. Getting my point? So, in the polyps also there are two parts. As I said, depending upon your how much it is polyps, there are three things to be talked. Now, while the nerve root is coming with contact with this, two types of your source of initiation of the process. One is chemical, another is mechanical. Mechanical, it will find that it is going to have deficit, some sort of deficit, be it motor, be it sensory in the distribution of the root depending upon the compressions. That is why you have to look for the integrity of all the roots starting from L1 to S1. Yes? So you have to know the distribution, sensory distributions of the roots, L1 down below, L1 thigh, L2 thigh, L3 thigh, L4 medial side of the leg, L5 lateral side of the leg, S1 is lateral border of the foot. All these things is supposed to know. Equally also the motor distributions of this all the root. Equally also you have to know the jerks. So all these things will tell us that what is happening there inside. Before that, the characteristic history of these patients are very important. The radicular pain is very interesting in this case, which is not found in case of degenerative disc or the headache. Here the pain characteristic is different. Now the pain is dull-aching, sharp and also radiating type, and it is burning in nature. This burning nature is not seen in the IDD and DDT. But here in PID you will find the patient is having some sort of burning pain. Radicular pain is exaggeration of the pain with the cough and sneeze. A radiation to the leg is a characteristic hallmark of the PID. And interestingly, while taking rest, he is significantly reducing the pain. The significance of this reduction of the pain is not seen in case of IDD. So that is why the three group of patients are different, and you have to take a very good history. The characteristic features in degeneration is different. IDD is becoming different. PID is also different. PID, the characteristics is the radicular pain, which is exaggerations of the pain will be because of the cough and sneezing and radiation of the pain and the distributions of the root with characteristic burning and tingling sensations, which is not commonly seen in case of IDD or DDT. So that is why it is important to take the proper history and examinations of the patients thoroughly, the distributions of the root, the sensory and motor, everything. That will help you come to your diagnosis. And once the diagnosis is there, then you will go for the treatment part. The treatments, as I said, whether your compression, the root is there, then necessarily you have to, in case of PID, if initially he is not getting relief of this, relief of the conservative treatment, be it your medicine, be it your physiotherapy, be it your rest, then you take a decision of surgery. So in this age group, stage 1, the acute disc prolapse is said to be up to 6 weeks. By this time, he is supposed to get relief of this conservative treatment. Then the next stage is your chronic disc. Now, in this stage, the decisions of your conservative and your depends upon the your neurological deficits. Kodai-Ikuna is always number one. Besides this progressive neurological deficit, not relieving by the conservative treatment is another important indications of your surgery. Exclusion of the psychiatric care, this is a very important thing. So sometimes it is seen that these patients categories of patients are never going to improve. So you must exclude the psychological part also. Psychological very good, important contribution to it. So exclusion, otherwise surgery is not going to help you. Now so there are definite indications for this surgical intervention in case of PID, and the approach to remove the discs are different. Ultimate principle in these surgically indicated cases are to remove the disc. That is true. But removal of the discs by open technique or other your mini-OSR techniques are almost basically same. The principles are same because you have to remove the disc. Now earlier days you have to open up, do the fenestration. Fenestration means removal only the ligamentum flavum part, or extension of the fenestration means removing of the part of the facet, sometimes lamina also. If needed, you may extend the laminectomy, hemilaminectomy. If needed, you may go for total laminectomy also. That is depending upon the need. Ultimate principle what? Removal of this. This can be done by the also microscopic way, where the incision is small. Microscopic also helps you to illuminations better and the magnifications. That can be also done by endoscopic way from the lateral or posterolateral, whatever it might be. So there are so many techniques are evolving because nowadays concept is go mini incision and do less morbidity, less damage to the muscles and other things. But principle remains same. So once we start convergent with this endoscopic, there is not necessarily to do so. But if you are unable to do the significant removal of the discs, that is going to fail, whatever the surgery is. Because ultimate treatment in this case is to remove the disc. Because this is offending one. Whether removed by open technique, whether removed by microscopic technique, whether removed by endoscopic technique or other chemonuclease, whatever it might be. Chemonuclease at the time was very popular to cause dissolutions or dissolving of these discs by some chemical maneuver, but that leads to your subsequent problem also because the chemical causes irritations of the dura and other things. So that is not very popular nowadays. But ultimately, since it is a mechanical thing, so mechanical removal is important. Be it open technique again, if a mini technique or extension technique or laminectomy, hemilaminectomy, whatever it might be, or endoscopic technique or microscopic, whatever it might be, the principle is to remove the disc. If it is possible with a mini surgery, that's well and good because this morbidity is less. But you cannot compromise that. If you are unable to do so, but you have to go for the open technique anyway. So that is your sequence of your treatment. So in this case, necessarily you have to do, besides doing the clinical examinations, one part is that you have to do the thorough investigations, and that investigations is most important is your MRI. Those who are unable to go for MRI can come contrast CT. Because somebody having metals and other things inside the body who is not a candidate to go for MRI, then what next? A contrast CT is best. So you have to confirm the contrast CT position of the disc and correlation to the neurological findings coming out. If it is not correlating, something is confusing, you have to reconfirm it. Because many a times it is very difficult to say sometimes what is actually the source of pain. Whether the diatrial joint is caused, whether the other part, as I said, these are all pain generators. So pain generators are many, but conclusively conclusively to say that this is the source of pain is sometimes very difficult. So that is why discography is also being done. So if you are discography, exertion of pain indicates that this is involved. So many things are there. Even then, this effort is only to confirm the pain generators and address the target. That is why so many efforts are there. That is why starting from taking the history, doing the clinical examinations, confirming the radiography or investigations is very important. Sometimes invasive techniques can be also being done. Invasive, that I said. So these are also being done to confirm the diagnosis and do the treatment. So these are the things we have discussed. So many things are there in the disc. So then still yet we are yet far away to know what exactly happens there in the disc. Why there is pain? Why it is happening so? Yet to answer so many questions. And so many things are still in the process of learning. Even then, this is the established thing still today, how the chemical changes, degeneration take place, how internal degeneration dysfunction take place, how mechanical prolapse is going to do, what are the characteristic features, complaints of the patients, what are the radiological findings, then you come to diagnosis and address it accordingly. So we have discussed the thing today, probably it is going to help you now.